Hi, this is Rabbi Tzvi Mandel of Congregation Kalbnei Yisrael, community of Jewish friends. It's great to see you guys again. And we'll start with a story from the Holy Rebbe Levi Yitzchak Barditcheva's Chos Yagon Lein L'Kol Yisrael, coming out of Hanukkah. We need schusim, and we have schusim, thank God. We have plenty of merits from the Holy Tzaddikim. And as known, even mentioning the name Barditchev, it says from Tzaddikim, is itself a schus. So a chassid comes into the Holy Rebbe Levi Yitzchak Barditcheva and says, Rebbe, I was a very rich man, and lately business has been going down, down, down. I don't know what to do. Plus, I have to marry off my daughter, who's already a kala. She's a bride, and if I don't come up with the money soon, I can't make the wedding. What do I do? So the Holy Rebbe Levi Yitzchak Barditcheva says to him, don't even worry about it. Buy a lottery ticket, and you'll win big. He says, Rebbe, okay, but with a lottery ticket, sometimes it could take years till you win, until they pay you, and with the whole procedure, it seems, those days. I need money till then, I have to marry off my daughter. So the Rebbe thinks, he says, don't worry. You'll soon get money. That'll be enough to marry off your daughter, and after that, you'll be prosperous again. But he has no questions. Walks out very joyous, goes to the nearest bodega, candy store, I don't know where, but gets a lottery ticket. And since it was a long travel for him to go home, he stopped off in an inn. Sleeps in it. He goes into the inn, checks in, and in the middle of the night, there happened to have been a big noble that was staying at that same inn. He was also traveling. And this noble gets this dream in the middle of the night that there's a Jew in your inn over here, the same inn as you, that has a winning ticket. And if you want the money, get it from him. He wakes up in the middle of the night, goes back to sleep, figures it's nothing. And he has the same dream. So even he knew it's not simple. You dream something twice in a row, or even 3 times maybe. So he sends out his assistant to find any Jew that might be in this place. They find this Yidel, he knocks on the door, he says, come, the noble wants to speak to you. The guy's scared out of his wits. And the noble says, do you have a lottery ticket by any chance? He says, yes. He says, I want to buy a lottery ticket from you. I don't sell my lottery ticket. He knew this is the ticket that the Rebbe told him to buy. And he ups the price and this and to 1,000 gold pieces, and the Jew says no. So he tells his assistant, tie up the Jew boy and just give me that ticket. And he forces the ticket out of him. And before he lets him go back to his room, he says, you know what, really, I'm a nice guy. I don't want to, hurt you or rob from you. Here, I'll give you the 1,000 that I promised you, and I'll give you my ticket also. Goes back to his room, and what does a Jew say? Everything is for good. So Hashem, I know it's only for good. Even though the Rebbe just told me about me winning the lottery, but I know it's for good. How? I don't know. Believe in Hashem. Anyway, shortly after, he marries off his daughter in grandiose manner. He had those 1,000 gold pieces. And a short time after, he wins a lot of money with that lottery ticket that the noble gave him, and was able to build his business back up. And he thinks to himself, okay, this calls for a visit back to the Rebbe. He goes back to Rebbe Levi Yitzchak Barditcheva, and as soon as he walks into Barditcheva, says, do you know what I had to do for you? I saw that your mazel was going lower and lower. So I contacted the angel of dreams, and I saw that the ticket was by the noble, so I made sure that he switches it around as it happened, and you got your money, just as I promised you. And Baruch Hashem, he gave a lot of charity and did a lot of mitzvahs with his parnassah and was able to live like a mensch and dealt honestly and straight like a Jew should, and was a big Kiddush Hashem and sanctified Hashem's name in the world. So we will go now back to the halachas, the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, just to mention what I spoke about yesterday, and this is how the Rav Shulchan Aruch says it. He says it's a good thing, v'toiv, to be in the habit of getting up right away from your sleep and saying, which we spoke about yesterday. I thank you, Hashem, in front of you. You are the king, the live king, that you make others, that you make everything alive, Yekayim, that you return my neshama to me, my soul to me, b'chemla, with love. Rabba Menasecha, great is our belief in you. And this way, he reminds himself of Hashem standing over him, who just gave him back his soul, and he gets up his Bezrizis. Bezrizis means without just hanging out. But still, he says, you shouldn't get up right away. It's important a person shouldn't get up right away when he wakes up in the morning, because that could be dangerous. Lachem Chamudis in the 9th parak of Brachis, Samachtes, and the Teres Hakenim in Shulchan Aruch, Siman Aleph Sivkat Beis. That's where it's brought down, but he waits a little bit, and he says the Maidani either lying or sitting. We'll mention that again. Also about putting the Negelvasa by the bed, which is very important. We have a word from the Rebbe Zulsha. I mentioned it, but it says like this. The beginning of the Psalm says, fortunate is the man, Ashrei Ish, that he doesn't sit among jesters, Moshe Blessing Yashav, hold on, let me get the exact words, sorry. This is the beginning of Psalms. Ashiyish, the first words. Ashiyish, fortunate, lucky is the man that doesn't go after the advice of the wicked and the ways of the sins or sinners. He doesn't stand. And where the jesters sit around, the jokers that do nothing with their lives, he doesn't sit. Only the Torah is of Hashem. The Torah of Hashem is what he's seeking, and in his Torah he is immersed days and nights. Yeah. So so the Rebbe Zulsha says like this. Is it here? Lo Yimis, how does it say? It says Ra Lo Yimis, yeah. He doesn't. Give me a second, I'm sorry. This is not embarrassing. I just don't remember where it is. Give me one more second. Okay, I'll have to look this up another time. Anyway, so the idea is, as we said, to have the negavasa near you in a cup and a shissel, a bowl of some kind, so that you could pour it into, and then you pour out the water right away, because the water is impure water, tamidika water, because all night when a person sleeps, he is tameh, he is impure, and this takes away the impurity. We will go to the third chapter in the first siman, first chapter, third paragraph, continuing some of the fundamentals of how a Jew worships Hashem, how someone wants to be an Chassidishe Yid, someone who wants to do Hashem's worship in the best way possible for him, no matter who he is, no matter how much he knows how to learn or doesn't know how to learn or whatever it might be. Everyone could be loyal to Hashem. That's called an Elochid, being loyal to Hashem. And that's what keeping halacha is about. Okay, the third paragraph. Yehuda ben Taimah says, this we have in Pirkei Avos, and we learned this. And it's also brought down in the beginning of the Torah. Yehuda ben Taimah says, be bold as a leopard, light as an eagle, swift as a deer, and strong as a lion, to carry out the will of your Father in heaven. This is in Avos, the 5th chapter, 23rd Mishnah. It's not always the 23rd. Some of them are a little different, but it's there in the 5th chapter. Now, to be as bold as a leopard, what does that mean? That he should not be ashamed before people who scoff at him. With respect to his service of Hashem, may his name be blessed. Never to be, should we say, embarrassed, or should we say ashamed because of what people will say or people will laugh at him. It's nothing. With respect to his service of Hashem, Kal Kanesha, the exhortation to be light as an eagle refers to looking with one's eyes, which means to say that one should be quick to close one's eyes to avoid seeing evil, as that is the initial stage of sin. The eye sees something prohibited, then the heart desires, and finally the organs of activity, in other words, the limbs, complete the transgression. Living in today's Western culture, right, you could walk down the street and doesn't leave much to the imagination of doing the worst sins possible for a human being to do between man and Hashem. Simple as that. It can't be more open than that. I don't want to say anything not right. So we have to learn how to close our eyes or how to look the other way. Yeah. To be swift as a deer is a reference to the legs, teaching that one's legs should hurry a person to perform good deeds. It's not enough you stroll into shul in the morning and then everything and anything else, and we could all do it better, myself included. Rush and be excited about what we have to do for Hashem. And even if we're not excited, Mesilas Yesharim says, but if you act like you're excited, you run with your feet, then you become excited. Some things external come secondary. Other things start with external. Now, Zrizas is one of the things that starts with external. Of course, the body's not too excited about worshiping God. But if you have an neshama and you have a mind and a heart and you want to become excited, it starts with external. Gibikari, strong as a lion, refers to the heart as the strength required to serve Hashem, may he be blessed, resides in the heart. And this is the other way around. Although Avodas Hashem, worshiping Hashem, being loyal to Hashem, loving Hashem, Longing to Hashem often entails physical activity. It primarily requires spiritual strength and will. The heart is the seat of these emotions. Okay. Thus, Yehuda ben Tema urged that one fortify his heart, has resolve to serve Hashem, and overpower the evil inclination, to conquer it, just as a strong man overpowers his enemy, vanquishing him and throwing him to the ground. By properly strengthening his resolve, a Jew can hope to eliminate any inclination to sin. Tall order, but it could be done. Number 4, paragraph 4. Therefore, a person must strengthen himself like a lion, and immediately upon wakening from his sleep and having said the Modani, as we said, he should arise with alacrity for the service of Hashem. May he be blessed and exalted. Before the evil inclination overcomes him, with arguments and excuses to convince him not to arise. As young people and teenagers go through all these things, but even as adults sometimes, it's good to remember these things. For example, the evil inclination will approach him with cunning to convince him to remain in bed in the winter by saying, "How can you arise now so early in the morning when the cold is still so great?" And during the summer, it will attempt to convince him by saying, "How can you arise from your bed when you have not yet had your full sleep?" During the summer months, when the sun rises early, a person may feel that he has not yet slept enough by the time morning arrives. Or with other similar arguments. For the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination knows very well how to ensnare people in traps from which they cannot break free. Therefore, a conscientious Jew who fears and trembles to obey the word of Hashem must overpower his evil inclination and not listen to it. And even if arising in the morning would actually be difficult due to sluggishness or laziness, rather than the deceptive tactics of the Yetzer Hara, he should set as his objective the fulfillment of the will of the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He. And to assist himself in this battle, he should take to heart the fact that if a person were to summon him to some lucrative business deal or to collect a debt, or if somebody were to call him to save his property from an impending loss, such as if a fire were to break out in the city or the like, certainly he would manage to rise immediately with alacrity because of his affection for his money, and he would not be neglectful. Similarly, if he were required to go somewhere for the service of the king, he would rise with alacrity, and he would not be neglectful, lest he be accused of neglecting his duties, or he would rise speedily so as to find favor in the eyes of the king. How much more so for the service of the King of Kings, the Holy One, blessed be He, should a person take care to arise with speed and alacrity. Moreover, if someone accustoms himself to this course of arising immediately 4 or 5 times, it will not be difficult for him thereafter. Furthermore, one who attempts to purify, improve himself, in other words, is helped by God, as the Gemara says in Tractate Shabbos 104a. Stop here, meanwhile. So we speak about, fearing Hashem and trembling, and it's something that we really can relate to in our generation, in our times. But what we could relate to is that Elach Yid, a loyal Jew, loyal to Hashem, loyal to the Torah, loyal to the great love that we feel from the one who loves us eternally every second of our lives, feeling gratitude to that and feeling responsibility, one has to know when to go to sleep so that he could wake up on time. One of the great Rebbes, the Ger Rebbe, Rebbe Avimodcha, used to say, it says in the beginning of the morning service, Shkamis Beis HaMidrash Shachas v'Yarvis, waking up early in the morning and in the evening to go to the Beis HaMidrash, to go to study or to pray. What does it mean, waking up in the evening? So he said it means that when you are ready the night before, think about when you have to get up the next morning so that you don't spend time till the wee hours of the morning and whatever you might be doing, even if it's something good, so that you don't fall apart the next day. That's called waking up in the morning and in the evening. In other words, the evening you're ready, we go to sleep on time and have a time to sleep so that we can get the amount of sleep that we need. Now, every person is different. Some people need 8 hours, some people need 6 hours. For some people, it's good enough 4 or 5 hours, but is your mind clear the next day? Can you pray the way you should be? Can you study the way you should be studying? And could you speak to people like a human being? All these things are important. Have a good night.